We're looking at the family aura themes for a family of 3. There are 4 different auric themes that you will encounter as you run these charts on the Genetic Matrix website, and thus we're going to focus on the 3 here. And in terms of the Penta itself and its drive towards family, well, the family of 3 is by far the worst number because it lacks stability. The Penta easily dies in a family of 3 and it never wants to do that. If any one of these 3 steps away from the family aura, the Penta dies. The father goes to work, the child goes to school, the mother goes to work. There are endless permutations of how this family aura can suddenly break down. Part of the challenge of a family of 3 is even being long enough in the aura to experience the Penta. And of course, in addition to that, a family of 3, it's a genetically unviable situation for procreation, having one child out of 2 sets of adult genetic material. That's a dwindling prospect for the gene pool. And it's also the most difficult in terms of the family itself, because if you just put 3 people in a room, for example, well, you can't have a conversation with 3. Only 2 of those people can connect at any one time. The father talking to the child, the father talking to the mother, the child to the mother, and so on. There's always someone left out in a family of 3. 3's a crowd. You've heard that bumper sticker, I'm sure. So we're starting here with a family that has an auric theme that says 9 and 0, compromise, tension. So of course this means that the sum of the 3 designs coming together in this Penta aura produces, in terms of all of the centers that are thus conditioning the 3 members, full definition. We're not talking about splits or anything at this point. We're just talking about center definition. So 9 centers are permanently turned on when these 3 people come together, and there are none open. And that leaves this theme called compromise tension. And this certainly, given the fragility of a family of 3 anyway, this type of family design can easily lead to separation, to divorce. Because this is a family that really doesn't aurically welcome the outside. If you watch my connection video about 9 and 0s, it's the same thing. When you have 2 people together and all of the centers are activated, well, it's not going to welcome anybody else intruding in there. And we feel that aurically when we're around this particular theme. So as a family, this is a very insular family, a family of 3, 9 and 0. There's no openness, there's no social welcoming of the outside. So it's very hard to break in on this kind of family, and as a result we don't feel welcome. So it's going to be a family that feels a little bit cut off because they don't feel that they need anything. I talked about the Penta always pushing for the 4th leg of a family. There is that pressure in any family of 3. But this family, through their minds, they're not going to think they want another child or need another child. There's nothing open here that's creating that kind of longing. What's missing here? So there's that sense that this 3 should be the ideal, but because it's a compromise tension theme, well, that is exactly where the problems are going to come with this kind of family. If you run a connection chart for each one of these, father-child, father-mother, mother-child, and look at the compromised channels, again, look at my connection videos about compromised channels, and you will see where the problems of this particular family lay. and compromise simply leads to a lot of argument, because the one with the hanging gate always wants to own the channel that is conditioning them, and the one with the channel does not want to be owned, does not want to be disagreed with, etc. So that just leads to a dissatisfaction with the person with the hanging gate and a lot of frustration with the one with the channel, bickering, argumentation. So this is a very difficult configuration, and the normal advice would be to, have another child, or even consider maybe getting some kind of animal in here to harmonize things a bit, but they won't think they need any of that. If we move on to the second of these, this is a family of 3 with an 8 and 1 family aura theme. You can see the tagline has now changed. It says seeking focus, and that is because one center is now open in this configuration. And that one open center will be pushing, will be working on the minds of the mother and the father to have the 4 in the family, to have that extra child. There's a certain longing when a center is open for fulfillment in that area. And that will then get them out of this issue of being a family of 3. And again, if you look at the connection video for 8 and 1, you will see that the tagline there is have some fun. And it's have some fun because the nature of the open center becomes like a window that the couple can go out through together into the outside world, socialize, and part of the growth for that couple is learning to have fun together. So go out together through the theme of that one center and have some fun. And it's a similar theme here. This is a family now that needs to go out together, and they need to find something that they can have in common and do together on the outside. Maybe every Sunday afternoon they go to the park together and they play softball with the other parents and children. Maybe they all go fishing together. Maybe on a Saturday they like to go and see the football game. Because if you look at the one open centre here, well, this is the root. We know this is the centre of pressure. And certainly within the family aura, these are acting as windows now, not the not-self strategy in terms of the root, which is always in a hurry to be free of the pressure. Well, this is about going out together into a pressured environment, maybe that football stadium, enjoying the pressure in the environment around them, but not have that necessarily move them. So allow the pressure to move through this family without acting upon it. Use this pressure energy to their advantage when they're together as a family. So as a family of 3, the 8 and 1 configuration is arguably the most clement, if you can have any family of 3 being a clement situation in terms of the Penta. And thus we move on to the third of these 4 family of 3 aura themes. This is now the 7 and 2. Where's the glue, says the 7 and 2. Because 2 centers have now opened up in this configuration of 3 people, and thus that introduces a lot of potential distraction. There's nothing really that's going to bind them together. It would be hard to have a common interest as a family with 2 centers open, and thus the family can easily go in separate directions. The father's just home from work, bushed, and just wants to veg out in front of the television. The mother's been on her own all day with the child, and she wants to go out and see her friend, and the young child wants to go up to the park with Papa and play ball. So there's always the potential of conflict in a 7 and 2 as a family of 3, because it's a construct that can easily break down, and then the not-self mind is going to try and pull that back in, and it can lead to problems. the father begrudgingly going up to the park exhausted after a day's work, not really enjoying the experience with his young son, and the young son thus not feeling quite so at one with his father. The father resenting the mother for not allowing him to have some downtime, and the mother resenting the father because she had to fight for the right to go out and see her friends. You can see the bickering can endlessly go on in this kind of configuration, notwithstanding, of course, the gaps in the Penta itself. So there's money problems in this potential family. It's a family with the lack of the 15. It doesn't easily come together anyway, and when they are together, there's no real harmony because there's no 46. And we move on to the final configuration, very, very unhealthy, is the family of 3 that is a 6 and 3. And really, what to do? That is the question with this one. There are 3 windows open in terms of this family now, 3 big holes. And this is an inherent problem that you really cannot overcome. Well, the only solution now is to become a 4. Because if you don't become a 4 with this kind of configuration, well, slowly but surely, this is a family, a marriage that is going to break down, that is going to fail. So in any one of these configurations, having a 3 as the core family is always a problem. And I'm sure if you look at the statistics of divorces relative to family size, you would probably see that the vast majority are families of 3s that lead to divorce. And the only counsel I can offer anyone out there that is in a family of 3 is seriously consider growing your family to a family of 4. Because in a family of 3, a partnership, a marriage, certainly these couples can end up becoming deeply alienated towards each other.